You deserve it.
Okay, all trainees come from the more than 1/3 of U.S. Oh, I can't thank you enough. I may finally get some sleep tonight.
It was fun. Times plan to attend the same conferences, balance the
Hello
snooze.
guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Today I really want to share this very complicated, situationship affair in this case that happened between very interesting characters on the show of Grey's Anatomy. First and foremost, I definitely didn't see this one coming, but yes, it came and it basically played out the way I thought it would. I feel like it was very predictable on how their situation would go, and that's exactly what happened. But before we get into further details and actually discuss this whole, affair, spicy possible affair that would have happened or could have happened between these two, and in this case, in this romance that happened between Teddy and Cass, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments if you have followed this story and what is your opinion on it, and let me know what you think about the writers going with this direction. So let's get right into further details and not waste any more time. So basically, you can follow their story on Grey's Anatomy season 21. And yes, I will basically give you the episodes. It's episode 6, 8, 11, and 13. If you want to follow their storyline and see what happened between the two. So basically, in the season finale, Dr. Teddy and Dr. Guess in this case shared a kiss. The kiss occurred after they had both expressed some emotional, vulnerability towards one another. Obviously, Dr. Cass being the one making the first move, and Teddy basically being surprised for the fact that Cass have made a move on her. So how did everything happen? So basically one day, in this case, Teddy and Owen, who is her husband, they went to have a nice dinner since they haven't had dinner in a really long time. So once they were there, obviously Cass showed up with her husband as well, but their husbands had to leave because, they were called up, at the hospital. So the husbands recommended for them to sit and have dinner together. So while they were having dinner together, they decided to go to have a burger instead of, eating at a fancy, restaurant. So once they were at the restaurant, they were just chopping things up and discussing and just speaking about work, how it's like to be a mother, personal life, and all of that. So during that moment, that's where they basically connected. And there is where, Cass actually has something very interesting to say. So while they were having a conversation, in this case, Cass basically told Kenny, in this case, Teddy, that she was in an open marriage, and she and her husband, they were falling apart. So they have decided to open their marriage, and that basically helped to save their marriage until this point, so they can be with other people. And obviously, you can clearly see that obviously Teddy, in this case, she was caught off guard because she definitely didn't see that coming. So during that moment, Cass actually ends up, kissing Teddy, and obviously Teddy stopped her and said, "Your marriage might be open, but mine is not." So after that, obviously Cass, in this case, she apologized. She was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I overstepped." So everything was solved. So basically, later on, they met again at the hospital in the elevator. They chopped things up, and everything was okay. And then later on, obviously, as well, Cass actually helped Teddy on a project that she needed to get done, and she was very helpful throughout that project. And you can definitely see that there is where they started to have a connection. But later on, you can also see that Teddy was trying to make, a friendly move on Cass. And Cass was like, "Hey, I'm trying to, respect your boundaries. So let's try to, keep limits here between us." And that is exactly what happened. And later on, they went to a conference. And when they went to the conference, that's where things got a little bit more intense and spicy between the two. Because when they were at the conference, you can clearly see that, in this case, Cass, she actually showed up with one of her, open marriage, side partners. And yes, and obviously, in this case, Teddy was caught off guard because she didn't expect to see Cass with someone else besides her husband. So during that conference, there was another situation where they had to work together on a project to help, another colleague that was going to do a very important presentation. So in this case, Teddy and Cass was helping her get, her presentation ready because of a situation that happened. So during that moment, they were doing the presentation and just getting everything set up. They had a moment. Yes, they had a moment, and that's the moment where, in this case, Teddy was actually the one who have decided to make a move on Cass. Obviously, Cass at the beginning, she was caught off guard because she really thought that Teddy wouldn't do it, but yes, she actually later on, gave into it, and she was the one who made a move on in this case on Cass. And Cass was like, okay, you want to do it. You tell me you're ready to do it. So let's do it. So they actually went to the conference together. They watched the presentation and all of that. So during the presentation, you can see that, there was already a build up towards the moment that we all saw coming. So yes, that's exactly what happened. So as the moments are coming, they actually end up kissing. They end up hooking up. They end up, having a moment where we actually thought that they will go sleep together. But during the moment where they were having that moment to get to that moment to sleep together, you can clearly see that in this case, Teddy stopped it. Yes, Teddy stopped it, because at that moment she felt very, very guilty. She felt like she was cheating on Owen and all of that. So she was like, hey, I really, really do want to do this, and you were an amazing woman, and I feel like we would have an amazing chemistry, but I cannot do this. I still feel like I'm not ready, to go ahead and go open my marriage and just, to hook up with other people, because it's kind of complicated for me. I'm married to this man, to my husband. I love him. I know our marriage is complicated and we're going through a rough path, but I don't feel like, opening our marriage and me sleeping with you would actually help, what I'm going through. I basically feel like they will only make things worse. And obviously, Cass is not the type of person that will force you to do anything that you're not willing to do. So she was very respectful and said, hey, I understand you. Just because open marriage is working for me and my husband, it doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you and Owen. So yeah, so basically they didn't go through with, the affair that could have happened. But I can definitely see why, the writers went with this direction. I feel like, they always find a way to bring some woman on woman love. They always trying to be like, even if it's just into situationships, even if it's just, love affairs, or, short term, relationships. Like this one would have been a possible, affair, but they decided to cut it off just when it was getting good. And I feel like that also led a lot of viewers disappointed, because they did want to see, even if it would just be a short affair, it would still have been nice to see that happen. But I also understand that, Teddy is in a complicated marriage with someone that loves her and that loves her back, but they know they have a lot of differences that they have to solve. And obviously, Cash, she's more open-minded. She's more like letting loose, not putting a lot of pressure on her marriage, because she knows she's married to her husband. They have kids and they ain't going nowhere. So yes, kind of two different people, who definitely had a mutual attraction to one another, but also at the same time understanding that right now is not the moment for them to explore that. Yes, but that's basically it. They had a very short, situation. Like I said, if you guys are interested in going to watch their storyline, I will highly recommend, go to episode 6, then episode 8, then episode 11, and then episode 13. Yes, let's see. But let me know down below in the comments, what is your favorite all-time, Grey's Anatomy couple? Me, I would definitely say Kelly and Arizona. I feel like that is a legendary couple. That is a classic. I feel like that really took like also, the show to the next level. And obviously there was other interesting couples as well. But if I have to pick one, it would definitely be Kelly and Arizona, even though the situation played out the way it did. But yes, guys, Grey's Anatomy season 21, Dr. Teddy and Dr. Cass, they have a almost love affair that never happened, but that did happen at the same time. If you get it, you get it. And if you don't, I will highly recommend you also go ahead and go watch it. And let me know your opinion down below in the comments. So yes, guys, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Yes, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And I also want to say thank you so much for all the love and all the support. Hope I see you guys again at the next video, and goodbye.